Brazil's ex-president Lula da Silva j.ailed for graft. Curitiba, Brazil, app. Former Brazilian President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva was spending his first night in jail, a stunning fall from grace for a man who rose from nothing to lead Latin America's largest nation and later became engulfed in corruption allegations. Foreshadowing possible clashes in the weeks to come, police shot rubber bullets and sprayed tear gas late Saturday at supporters waiting for da Silva as he landed in a police helicopter in the southern city of Curitiba, where he will serve his 12-year sentence for money laundering and corruption. Just a few hours before that, da Silva had to have guards push their way out of a metal workers' union in a Sao Paulo suburb so he could turn himself into police. Supporters were trying to keep him from going into custody. Speaking to thousands of supporters at the union that was the spiritual birthplace of da Silva's rise to prominence, the former leader said he would turn himself in so as to continue fighting a corruption conviction that he said amounted to a way for enemies to make sure he doesn't run, and possibly win, re-election in October. When he first tried to leave the metal workers' union headquarters, however, dozens of supporters blocked a gate where a car carrying da Silva was trying to exit. "Surround, surround, the building, and don't let them arrest him," chanted supporters. After a few minutes of tense words between guards and supporters, the former president got out of the car and entered the headquarters. Police vehicles surrounded the union, raising the fears of clashes. Da Silva emerged a second time shortly after nightfall, this time surrounded by bodyguards who pushed back scores of supporters who tried to stop his advance. Such dramatic scenes throughout the day underscore the drama that has racked a nation deeply divided on da Silva's legacy and whether he is guilty of corruption. The latest developments began when the Supreme Federal Tribunal, the country's top court, ruled against his petition on Thursday to remain free while he continued to appeal his conviction. Da Silva doesn't forgive police, prosecutors. Judge Sergio Moro, who oversees many of the so-called car wash cases, then ordered an arrest warrant for da Silva, giving him until 5 p.m. Friday to present himself to police in Curitiba, about 260 miles, 417 kilometers, southwest of São Bernardo do Campo, and begin serving his 12-year sentence. Da Silva, who Brazilians simply call Lula, did no such thing. Instead, he hunkered down with supporters in the union headquarters. The police and car wash investigators lied. The prosecutors lied, said da Silva, as a few thousand supporters cheered. "I don't forgive them for giving society the idea that I am a thief," he continued. Still, da Silva said he would turn himself in to go there and face them eye to eye. "The more days they leave me in jail, the more Lulas will be born in this country." While da Silva spoke, some people cried while others chanted "Free Lula." When he finished speaking, a sea of supporters carried him on their shoulders back into the building. Mauricio Santoro, a political science professor at the State University of Rio de Janeiro, said that by not complying with the order on Friday, da Silva wanted to demonstrate strength and popularity, showing that he is a political leader capable of gathering a crowd in his support. Choosing the metal workers' union to take refuge, and not the Workers' Party headquarters, was also significant, said Santoro. It shows that he wants to emphasize his trajectory as leader of a social movement, rather than his role as leader of a party marked by allegations of corruption, he said. Last year, Moro convicted da Silva of trading favors with the construction company in exchange for the promise of a beachfront apartment. That conviction was upheld by an appeals court in January. The former president has always denied wrongdoing in the case and in several other corruption cases that have yet to be tried. Still, his jailing marks a colossal fall from grace for a man who rose from poverty to power against steep odds in one of the world's most unequal countries. During his 2 administrations, several social welfare programs and a booming economy helped tens of millions come out of abject poverty, making his downfall deeply personal for many Brazilians who saw him as a symbol of hope. Born in the hardscrabble north